Hey, 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 what's up? Welcome to Jeebus Chris.
Let's give him a few to come in.
We're going to let some people come in, see how many people we can get in here before we get started. I know it says update on the description, but there's just a few things I want to cover, a few people I want to give thanks to. We want to give thanks to some of our awesome subscribers and contributors. The fact that even the amount of people that were willing to have my back is absolutely humbling to me, and I appreciate it so very much. Being in jail sucks. Anyone who's ever been locked in a cage knows that it sucks. And yeah, so that's what happened. I got arrested, I believe it was Thursday night, on a bench warrant for a failure to appear. It was a court date that I didn't know I had. I didn't receive anything in the mail. I don't remember it was supposed to be an interaction with a state trooper that I have no idea about. So I'm thinking someone might have used my name. They might have got pulled over and used my name. I have a family member that's been known to do that. But anyway, some of you guys chipped in to help Sarah bail me out, and man, I can't thank you enough.
Y'all know how tore up I was. It was crazy. Looking back on it, I'm just a little bit embarrassed about it because of the whole ugly cry and everything. But y'all got to understand, we're two peas in a pod, but not that kind of pod.
Yeah. The Greenup County Jail. Wow. I want to start off with that because I don't know how many people are in here that have ever been to Ironton, to the Lawrence County Jail, but it is an absolute shithole, straight up dungeon. The place is inhumane as hell. Like, when you go in there, you expect a phone call, for one. That's the first thing you expect when you get arrested. Like, am I going to get my phone call? If you get arrested in Lawrence County, you do not get a phone call. You get a collect call if you have someone on the outside. And it's weird. It's like they only arrest people that they assume already have been to jail recently or whatever. Like, they kick people while they're down. It's crazy. But they don't give you the phone call. And when Sarah and I got arrested, we were sitting there handcuffed to a bench while they were booking us in, and she was upset. She was crying, and I was like, sweetheart, calm down, and I was trying to console with her. And this little young dude, man, like 20 years old, if tall, skinny, red, blondish haired little young deputy, while I'm trying to calm her down, walks over and says, "Shut the fuck up." And like, wow, we just kind of looked at him. And so I'm like, listen, just call your sister as soon as you get back there. See if your sister will accept a collect call. Try to call my mom. And this dude's like, I said no talking. And when we talked to Chapman, the corporal, the guy over top of the jail, the guy that played this just totally innocent, like when we went down there to file complaints at the sheriff's department, the corporal, I told him about the young guy, and the way he was treating us while we were being booked in and stuff. And he was like, I don't think that guy's working here anymore. If he did, do I say, no, he did. I'm telling you he did. Are you insinuating that I'm lying? And like, you guys got cameras. Like, first of all, their cameras don't have audio. So anything they say is not, they know they can say whatever the hell they want. But after the no phone call, right, then you expect the simple things, right? Like, if you're a female, you would expect, say, if you're on your period, then they know it, which they will, because they're going to strip search you regardless. You would expect those feminine products with what tampons, pads, whatever you need like that, right?
Anything like that, you know.
They don't even give you your underwear. They make you strip completely naked, bend over in their face. In her case, 6 times in a row. Are you sure you don't have anything? Because if you have anything and you get back there, I can't do anything for you. And all, it's just trying to. First of all, we weren't arrested on drug charges. There was no evidence of any kind of drug use activity, nothing, save for the fact that Joe Akers, clown shoes, liar, used that when he pulled us over. He told his supervisors, both of them, that he was doing a drug interdiction and that he had indicators, and that's why he was patrolling us. So he told himself, first of all, he's like, basically, I was going to pull him over no matter what, but this is what I got him for. And he lied about that too. Anyway, off topic. You go to Ironton Jail, you don't get a towel, you don't get a wash rag, you don't get a bar of soap. You're lucky to get a blanket, and you have to beg for that. It's like you have to. They want you to suck up to them. They want you to, play nice and basically kiss their ass to get the things that you already should get. Greenup County Jail, on the other hand, completely different story. From the time I got arrested, the cop that arrested me, Adam Collins, dude, if you're watching this, Adam, big thumbs up, man. I've never been approached by any law enforcement the way this guy handled, the way even like he even arrested me nicely. Like I'm just like, okay, I put my hands behind my back. I'm like, shit, man. I was about he walks up to me. I come out of a Speedway. I'm getting her some soda, super quick, yeah. And he just casually walks up to me and he's like, hey, what's up, man? And I'm thinking, hey, what's up? I'm like, not much, dude. About to go home and crack open a beer. He's like, yeah, probably not. He's like, I got a warrant for your arrest. And then we go through that whole spiel. I'm like, man, it's like so much for my chicken sandwich from Wendy's. He was like, oh, shit, you can eat it. Go ahead. We got all the time in the world. He's like, I got all night, man.
It's like, no.
Can I smoke a cigarette before I go? Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead. Smoke 3. Like, all right, cool, man. Appreciate it. So, yeah, he was doing his job. Yes. I told Sarah if he was really cool, he would have just turned the other way and not came and arrested me in the first place. He said he checks his list of people that have warrants at the beginning of every shift. These guys are poor. They got nothing to do. They're literally just sitting there watching traffic go by. I don't even see them really pull people over. I mean, people fly past that red light going like 80 all the time. And they really don't mess with nobody. So they're not out there just trying to nitpick people and hem people up. So I give them that. Not saying all cops in Kentucky are that way, but in Raceland, Kentucky, these guys are pretty laid back. They don't bother us. I've had bad tags on my car and had them ride behind me for like 2 miles straight and not pull me over. So it is what it is. So then when I get down to the jail, the one guy asked me, have you had any prior drug charges? I said, yeah, man, like 20 years ago. He's like, yeah, what was the charge? Do you mind me asking? Totally polite about it. And I'm like, drug trafficking, Percocets, whatever. He's like, oh, now I'm going to have to strip search you then. I'm like, hey, I know the drill. But it actually says in their policy that they're not supposed to strip search you unless there's probable cause that they, of some kind of proof that they have that you might have drugs, on you, or some kind of evidence that leads to that. They can't just assume they're not supposed to strip search you, especially with the x-ray machines, right? So there's that. So while I'm getting booked in, the guy's like, hey, if you want to use the tablets, it's 5 cents a minute for the internet. You can watch videos. And I'm like, what, tablet? He's like, yeah, we got, notebook tablets back there for, the internet and stuff like that. So you can watch videos.
Beth's trying to join.
Okay, hang on.
But she is in the chat. So is Butch, the original. Alchemist 83. Thank you guys for stopping in, joining us tonight. I know it's really late and it's kind of, it's a late stream for most, But
we work all day, man. You're always going to catch us late. Going to be around 10:30, 10:45, or nothing, because I work every day. I don't take a day off. Very rare. I got off early tonight because of the storm, but I want to thank some people for contributing. We had about $525 between the two of us, between both of our credit cards. We put all that up. That was including our rent money, part of our rent money that was in that money, and we put that up. And between Miss Beth Rist, God bless her, she chipped in $100, and the rest of you guys $175. That was, let's see, who we got here.
I'm getting to it now.
Was her name Debbie? Was it Debbie? A woman named Debbie. Yeah, there was a woman named Debbie. Go into
I have to. I got to get in there and look.
So first off, we had Debbie. Debbie sent in $70. And then James B. I don't know if you want me to use your last name on a live stream, man. I usually don't do that. But James sent in, let's see. She didn't tell us how much he sent in. She didn't send it like this. Okay. So we asked her son's girlfriend to send us a list of the people that chipped in.
She's
exactly
watching.
How much.
Lex, if you're in chat and you can post, put that information in there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So James sent $5. Hey, man,
And
$5 is
more than what we had.
more than what I expected. Honestly, just the fact that you guys chipped in last minute, and helped me get out of jail, it was just freaking nuts. And when I saw Beth's ID, I was like, what? I told I think he was there, the sergeant or something. I can't remember his name. I wish I could remember his name now because I wanted to give him a shout out. These guys were totally nice, totally professional. Like I said, nothing like what you get when you go to the Lawrence County Jail.
Was it Newsom or?
Newsom. Deputy Newsom, and the other guy, I think his name was Purnell. Sergeant Purnell. Totally awesome. Great guys. Other than that, there's a list of people that donated that I wanted to give a shout out to.
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
I'm
getting to it.
Yeah. So I wanted to go over that stuff, and also let you guys know that on our next stream that we're going to do here in a couple days, we're going to be covering some really serious stuff, some stuff that we've been looking into. Sarah did some digging, came up with some statistics that will absolutely blow your mind. For example, we brought this up before, and I believe Beth brought it up on her channel as well, which, by the way, I don't see Beth down here trying to get on the stream. It would usually say someone is backstage, and I don't see that. So, Beth, if you're coming up, you have to click the link, and then it says enter studio. You have to enter the studio so that I can bring you up.
Okay, I have a list of the people here that sent money on PayPal, and I'm not going to do last names. I will say your first name as I see it on here and the amount that you sent. So Miss Laura sent $20. Caleb sent $20. Frank sent $12. Mary sent $5. Frank again $8. And Miss Jennifer sent $30. And guys, I'm beyond words still. Thank you guys so much. You have no idea.
For anybody that's been around our channel for a while, you know that we've never asked for money. I usually put our donation information in like the descriptions of our videos. I actually stopped doing that a long time ago. We don't want people to think that we're grifters, whatever they
Is
call
that what they call them?
grifters. Yeah. We know of a few, and we don't want to be that. People keep telling us, hey, do a fundraiser and this and that and that. The people that know we struggle and stuff, and it's like, no, man, that's not.
It's not what it's about for us.
No.
I don't think, in my own opinion.
But on our next live stream, guys, because this one's going to be short and sweet. On our next live stream, I want to go over some things that happened in Ironton and some policies that were broken. Like, for instance, McKnight, when McKnight comes flying down the one-way street to put handcuffs on Sarah simply because she was trying to apologize to Blankenship because he told her to shut up and she didn't. First off, dude, shut up is never a lawful order. Not ever. I don't care. You bootlickers, whatever y'all dudes that holster sniffer, whatever you call, y'all want to come in here and justify that shit? You can just go. Don't. And you. We're not dealing with that. I've had enough of this taken up for stupidity and look, nobody takes up for me when I do stupid shit. You know what I mean? And if you have if you're wearing a badge, you're supposed to represent something honorable, man. That's what that badge is. To me, that's what that badge is. And when I see a cop break the law, I think, man, that guy should be held 3 times more accountable than the average person, because guess what? He swore an oath to uphold the law. He's supposed to be protecting your rights. And if he's the one breaking them or stepping on them, then what do we got here, guys? Where the hell are we living, man? Right? So, Blankenship, shut up. I said shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. And then Goo. Goo talks a lot about not wanting to take away people's civil liberties. He talks a big game on his channel. I mentioned once that I had respect for Goo because of a thing that happened, and that was that. I caught a lot of flack for it from Chili de Castro, because how dare someone say anything even remotely nice about a cop, right? Even if the dude did everything he said he was going to do and kept his word, and the money was donated to the place where he said it was going to be donated, and I saw the check written. Okay, so yeah, I give somebody respect for that. I give it where it's due. But McKnight, the one-way street shit, that's against your policy, dude. We have it. We have the actual policy number. We have it highlighted. We have all that information. We're going to go over it on our next live stream. Also, where a lot of the money is being appropriated for Lawrence County, and first off, they have over $1 million in this thing called a rainy day fund, right? They have tens of thousands of dollars in this thing called a body paint thing. I don't know. Must be something for like
Body
a county
paint
fair or
and
some shit.
recreation.
Body paint and recreation fund, right? And for those of you that don't know, Ironton, Ohio is the drug overdose capital of the state of Ohio. They surpassed Portsmouth, the neighboring town, the neighboring county, Scioto County. It used to be the capital. It used to be #1 statistically. Now Ironton is #1. And if you're wondering why, it's because they only have $1 and 2 pennies in their accidental drug overdose investigation fund, right? So rainy days are more important than all the people that are dying of accidental overdoses. Meanwhile, we got cops running around with meth and fentanyl, which are the 2 drugs needed to accidentally overdose someone. That's a problem. That's a problem that the mayor should be talking about. That's a problem that the fucking governor should be talking about. That's a major problem. I mean, do you guys not see that as a problem? What are we talking about here, man? I'm just reading some of the comments, guys. I'm just seeing who all's in the chat.
While he's doing that, I do want to make a little comment on that just because it hits so close to home.
We got you, Beth.
And
Howard County Observer, thank you very much, dude. Thank you very much.
we appreciate you very much. You've been there for, I think, from
Did you go over all the names of the
from
people?
day one. But the whole overdose thing going on, you know, if you've been labeled a druggie, or if you have a history, or maybe you haven't dealt firsthand with addiction, I can almost guarantee you that someone in your family either has, or someone you love that is close to you has dealt with it firsthand, especially in this area. definitely our tri-state area. It's like, this is like the cesspool, because at one point, 23 was labeled the OxyContin Express.
I'm sure a lot of places have something called the OxyContin
Probably.
Express. Anywhere between
But
Florida and,
just to put this in perspective, the Second Chance program within the Lawrence County courts, the thing that they're supposed to offer to try to help those that have struggled choose a different path or go a different route. Now, I don't know if it's that way for all of them there, but you got to think about something. Lawrence County has, at minimum, at least what?
Lawrence County, I don't know the people. I know there's like,
I'm sure the
Ironton's
number's
like
a lot higher, but 10 that I know of for sure, rehab facilities. Now, if those
they're
places,
ineffective. They're ineffective. The
Right.
rehab facilities, and I think they're intentionally ineffective because they want people to keep coming back. And
how
this is
else
why
will they make money? Billions of dollars are made every year in the rehab facilities.
I've seen the numbers.
Billions.
Can I explain something? Let me explain something to you guys. All right. I don't know if you know anybody who's on drugs or has been or who's ever recovered, but when you clean up and you get off of heavy drugs, like opiates, like I was on, and when you get off of that stuff and you go back to it, right? It's like you don't go back to where you were, right? You go back to where you would have been if you had never left. Like, you go back to where your friends are still doing it. You go and you clean up or you get locked up or whatever you do. You go get help, right? And you come back on the scene and all your friends are still there, right? They've surpassed your level of addiction, dude. They've moved from snorting to shooting and God knows what, right? So it's way more serious. It's like going into the future of your drug use. You know what I mean? It's like that Bible verse that talks about demons in your house, and when you cast them out, right, they come back and they bring all their friends. They like bring 7 more and tear your house up even worse. That's what drug addiction is like. Whenever you quit and you relapse, it's way worse the second time, the third time. And I feel bad for people that I watch. I'm watching them trying to get clean. I'm watching people that I care about that I can't even go around because I can't stand to see them, messed
It's
up
not
on
that you
shit.
don't love that person. That has nothing to do with it. It's that it literally crushes you to see that person go through what they're going through.
To see someone withering away right in front of you, to look at them and just see death written all over them. It's hard. And we won't do it. We can't. But yeah, all these rehabs, all this money, and all these people dying from overdoses that have, almost every one of them, been through a rehab or two, or been through the same one several times. And it's like it's programmed to make them worse, right? Just keep them coming back for more money. It's like, and the judge is like, oh, he's going to take it easy on you, right? Instead of giving you prison time, right, he's going to give you treatment in lieu. He's going to send you to the STAR program or whatever so they can brainwash you in a therapeutic community or TC or whatever, transitional control. He's going to give you that, but that's going easy on you, right? Instead of sending you to a place where you can work and keep your mind off of things and do your time the way you want to, they send you to this place where someone's always down your throat telling you how to eat, how to make your bed, trying to reprogram you, knowing that there's a 99% failure rate for these places. Like, there's like, what, a 7% success rate? It's ridiculous. I know those numbers don't add up, but just using examples. One's really high, one's really low, right? And it's bad, man. They're making profit off of death, suffering, and mourning, and
something has to give.
I've lost so many friends, man. So many. around the Ironton area, and I've heard of so many people overdosed in their cars in the parking lot of such and such Wendy's. Down on Storms Creek, there was a chick found naked from the pants down. I believe Beth Risk talked about that. Why aren't they investigating these things? Why aren't they doing their job? You would think that a cop would want to solve a mystery, right? Because he'd get credit for it, right? But they're not investigating it. And what does that tell me? Well, a man with common sense would conclude that if they're not investigating it and they're the cops, then they probably might have something to do with it. Or they probably might know who did it, or might know something about it that they don't want people to know they know, right? We know of a specific situation where a man was, we believe he was hot-shotted. And that's when, I don't know, man, say somebody knows too much, and then you got these two confidential informants, and the cops are allowing them to use drugs to stay high and at the same time bring them busts, right? They're literally giving these guys enough to buy this much drugs, and knowing that they're only going to bring them back this many drugs, right? And knowing that they're going to do the rest of it right there at the person's house. And they pretty much give them the green light to do that, right? And in this particular situation, this guy was administered the dope. He overdosed on the dope. And instead of investigating the two people that left his hotel room with his wallet and all his stuff, including his freaking prosthetic leg, the guy, they took his leg with him, right? His wallet, his phone. There were pictures of these things. He sent it to his sons, right? And then whenever they got all his stuff back from this couple, the phone was not there.
Why do you think that is?
Aaron Bollinger, we went to Aaron Bollinger. He's the head of the drug task force, the drug investigations over in Ironton. He's the head of, he's like the head detective for the sheriff's department over there, right? And he laughed. He was like, I know who was with him. Well, why aren't you investigating him? Because there's nothing to investigate. I wonder why. There's only $1.02 in your accidental drug overdose investigation fund, right? So I'm not surprised that you're not investigating accidental drug overdoses. They're just labeling accidental whenever there could be more to it. Like, they're supposed to treat that shit as if it is a homicide in every case. Like, they're supposed to at least look into it. I can test the cigarette butts in the ashtray to see if someone else was there. You know what I mean? Someone said, what's the mystery about an OD? Okay, I'll tell you what the mystery could be. Okay, sometimes the person that ODs,
an addict 9 times out
knows
of 10
his limits.
Knows their limit.
Right. I mean, 9 times out of 10, the person that's putting needles in their arm knows what they're putting in their arm. They've done it 1,000 times. If they didn't, they would have been dead yesterday. Well, so that's one thing to consider. Okay, that's not a certainty because, you know, everyone knows accidents can happen. People do overdo things. But don't you find it a little ironic that the overdoses are happening with 2 drugs that are guaranteed to kill you if you use certain amounts of them at the same time? These people aren't writing suicide notes before they go. You know what I mean? And the cops show up, and the guy, I've seen situations where the cops show up and the guy's in the bathtub in the hotel room dying, and they're still talking to him like a piece of shit, like, get up. Get over here. Like, the dude's laying there turning blue and you're telling him to stand up? Off the point. Point is that there's being a lethal amount of these 2 drugs, crystal meth and fentanyl, or carfentanil, or whatever kind of fentanyl. They're mixing these 2 drugs with doses that are like enough to kill a freaking elephant. And they're calling that an accident? All right. Yeah, addict knows their limit and then does more when the limit doesn't do it for themselves. All right, I get that. I get that. But in some cases, these confidential informants are giving people what they call hot shots, and that's a known fact, dude. So I don't know what you're trying to prove, or if you're just trying to prove somebody wrong. I mean, I don't really care. You're entitled to your opinion. But I'm telling you that a lot of these overdoses are not accidental. They're not. And the cops aren't investigating them. Or let's just say that they're probably not. that most signs show that they're not. Like most evidence points to the fact that there was some kind of foul play involved, right? Cops knew someone was dead on arrival. Their windows are rolled up. They're dead in the backseat of their car with a needle hanging out of their arm. What is the first thing the cops do? Break the window to pull the person out, or check the fucking window for fingerprints and check for cigarette butts around the scene, check the DNA on the cigarette butts, find out who else was there, right? Because if you're driving your car, you're not just going to hop in the back seat, lock the doors, and roll the windows up, or maybe you are. But in this case, I just think it's funny that the cops don't investigate it. I mean, they should at least do an investigation into it instead of labeling it an overdose that's accidental, right? And the fact that they only have $1 and 2 pennies in their drug overdose accidental thing in their funds, right? These are facts. So what's the rainy day fund for, right? The cop gets sued, he needs a lawyer. We got this slush fund, this rainy day fund. We can dip into this and get him a lawyer. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad you guys got that security. But
what about
the drugs, the overdoses? You are the drug overdose capital of the state, and you have $1 and 2 pennies in your drug overdose investigation funds.
That speaks volumes in terms of where it's not about.
So let's just assume all the drug overdoses are accident, right? Wouldn't it be nice for you as their family member, as someone who just at least to know for a fact that that was an accident? What if you know for a fact that your brother doesn't use this kind of drug, or that you've never known him to use drugs at all, and they find him dead? And someone tells you there were 2 people with him that night. They were seen with him leaving the hospital, and they went to this hotel. And there's all this, and witnesses that can attest to these things, right? And the cops know all this information, and they don't even try to even find out whether or not it was a murder, or whether or not. Why aren't they investigating the dealers? Why aren't they arresting the dealers instead of targeting the poor addicts that they know don't have the money to defend themselves in court? I'll tell you why. Because they want to fill those fucking rehabs up. Bro, who is this cat? Let's see what it's saying. Seems you are trying to leave some facts out on
what
OFD this story. Of the story? What facts would those be? Let's see what this guy's saying. Okay. Just because you say it doesn't make it a fact. Just like what I say isn't a fact. Okay, so what are you saying? That you're a liar? That you don't speak facts? What are you saying here, man? That you have nothing in writing or cases to prove it. Really? So really nothing's in writing? Really? How about text messages, man? How about photos of someone's belongings, right? How about you were there in a hotel room with them, right? Even if you guys were using drugs together, you were the one administering the drugs to the guy because he didn't have fingers on both of his hands to use to do that. And he's missing a leg, so I doubt he's using his toes, right? How about that? It seems like you have something to prove. It seems like you have a motive, an agenda here, right? I have no agenda. I just want these guys to do better. I want my encounters with them to be respectful. I want, when I get pulled over for nothing, for what? My registration said that my car was a different color than what it looked like to a cop. Yet there were no cars reported stolen that fit the description of what it looked like to them, right? You can't put 2 and 2 together. You can't look at the VIN number at the car and then just run it on and then look at the one on the registration and say, okay, this is the same car. Instead, I tell you, hey, there's the information you need. The VIN number is right there. You can check, make sure everything's good. And you tell me, oh, I'm not arguing about any of that. I'm not even worried about none of that. But wait a minute, isn't that why you pulled me over? So what are you worried about, right? And then your buddy comes flying down the wrong way, and I say, wow, he's going down the wrong way on a one-way. Yeah, because of how you guys are acting. So DCW production said, I'm saying I could be lying just like you are lying, right? So you're calling me a liar, right? All right. How about this, pal?
Wait a minute, though. What specifics? Okay,
He's going to shut up and listen instead of typing away. And see, people like this, they like to type-a-roo, right? You're speaking in rebuttal to them. They're making it like it's some kind of actual conversation. They're asking you questions. And while you're answering the question, they're still typing their next comment, right? I don't do trolls, man.
I understand that.
I'm going to get rich. Listen, I'm going to get rich off of an app. I'm going to create a feature for YouTube, right? That's going to allow you to put those people in a corner somewhere all together and label their name troll, right? So that every time they comment, they have to send you a super chat to even send that comment. It's going to be called the troll toll, right? I think it's a great idea. Put them all in the corner with a dunce cap.
Just to be fair, this person is asking questions.
No, they're not.
And they're
trying to prove someone incredible because they know someone that's involved in this shit.
Okay,
or their pockets are being filled by it too, right? They're in here taking up for this behavior because they benefit from it somehow, or it offends them in a way to where it offends someone that they know might be involved in it. So they want to try to prove me incredible whenever I speak the truth.
Well, first
everything
of all,
I say is the truth.
Don't get it wrong. That we're not trying to say that.
He just called me a liar.
Okay, basically, what pisses us off is the fact that those that have a job to do when it comes to things like that are not doing their job. Knowing and being a recovered addict, there's many people that, per se, met their fate in a very mysterious way where you can see there's foul play involved. Others have told you there is foul play involved. And even the authorities admit they know that confidential informants were with said person. And you ask, well, why didn't you look into that? Because it's an accidental overdose. Why? Because
how did you know it was an accident? Did you do an investigation? How did you come to that conclusion? How can you so easily mark it off as an accident when you've got 50 million other accidents over here in this filing cabinet somewhere, right? With no investigation, nothing being lost, nothing. And then I go and I look, and all of a sudden there's $1.02 in the funds that you would have to use to do those investigations. So that tells you that they don't plan to do any investigations about any drug overdoses, period. They don't even have the funds to do it. They're not even putting aside the means to do those investigations because they know they're not going to do them.
And they would rather profit off of it than actually get to the bottom of it.
You got money coming out of the rehab. Some of that money could go into those investigations, right? But there's $1.02 in there. Just like the Ironton cops are being drug tested at Bellefonte Hospital, which has been closed down for the past 7 years.
Or longer.
And you got cops running around with meth in their fucking pockets and fentanyl. The same drugs that are overdosing these people accidentally. You're a fool if you sit here and take up for this shit. You look stupid. You look like an idiot. Come on, man. Just put the pieces together and look at it. Look at the whole thing. It's not just about me getting harassed or her getting harassed or cop wanting to pull her out of the car so he could pat her down every single fucking time he pulls her over so he can put his hands on her tits and all this. And you know what? That same cop did resign because of that exact reason, and he has a body camera floating around in that police department. I suggest someone be looking for it and FOIA it. I don't know what date it happened on, but I'm going to find out. Blankenship, Chance Blankenship, he was made to resign from Ironton, where he then went. I don't know if he was made. I don't know if they made him. I know Pam was actually trying to clean house in that place. We found that out later. She actually advocated to have Evan McKnight fired, and the mayor wouldn't have it. And I had that on a very reliable source. So not saying Pam's innocent because
it's a lot bigger than what we went through. There's a lot more things involved. You know, why actually investigate? To me, is how they're thinking about it, because they investigate and they track down and they track the supplier and so on and so forth, then there's not going to be a need for those rehabs lining the pockets of the judges who are prosecuting these said addicts that do make it past the overdose. But what about the ones that are gone? Where's their justice?
Hey, someone commented. I want to read this comment, guys. I'm going to go to the chat for a second. Check you guys out. For those of you who don't know, when you're on StreamYard, you can't see the chat on screen. You have to have another device and kind of just go take your attention away from the stream. But I like to do that. I like to check out some of these comments. This one person here is saying that kind of like your car accident in your Nissan. I wasn't an accident with Nissan. Says where you were at fault.
No.
You accidentally tried. What is it? You actually tried to blame someone else. You can't take accountability for yourself. First off, do you know anything about that accident? Do you know where that accident was? Is your name Tracy? Is your name Tracy Broughton? You want me to start talking about people that I know in Ironton?
It's not about that.
Do I need to say what you do and what you did? Come on.
They're saying that what?
So listen here. You says, why don't you run for elect position then? Seriously, to change things. Could be, what does it matter? So all the rest of the people in the chat, you guys can see this person commenting, right? I don't have a moderator here, right? That's not what we're doing here. We're not Chili de Castro. We're not shutting people up because they say bad things and it makes me look bad. We can talk about it. We can discuss it. If you're going to make accusations, I suggest you come with a receipt. You come with some kind of proof to prove your claim, right? Because you're making claims, right? So was I at fault when that was wrecked? Maybe somewhat. Maybe somewhat. I'm not going to go into exactly how it happened. Let's just say that a woman hit me from the front side. Okay? I might have misjudged as the distance that woman was away, but I couldn't see that woman. That woman was behind a truck. And when that woman decided to pass that truck and go over the speed limits, which I'm assuming that truck was doing, fast enough to pass out from behind that truck and hit me before I could go from this side of the highway to the next and even see her, she was probably speeding.
What's called an accident? If anything.
And the woman lied in court, and the judge caught her lying too. She tried to say I didn't have insurance when it happened. I did. My insurance expired after that happened. Also, she tried to tell the judge that I ran the stop sign, that she saw me approaching the stop sign at a fast speed. That's a lie, because there was a car in front of me when I reached the stop sign. The car in front of me went, and then I waited for almost 2 minutes for an opening because both sides of the highway was busy. That's a judgment call. That's called an accident. There's no law to back that up. There's no law that says I can't go if I see the opportunity to go when there's no lights to regulate the traffic, right? It's a perception thing, and that's what accidents are for. Just because you get in an accident don't mean you need a ticket. That's what the state boys believe. They believe that if they have to come to the scene, they are going to write. Who's been in an accident in Ohio? State patrol show up and did not write a ticket on anyone. I'd like to hear from some of those people because I don't think there's many of them. Statistically, as far as I'm concerned, every time an Ohio state patrolman shows up to an accident, somebody gets a ticket. My buddy's girl was in a medically induced coma in the hospital, right? That was the guy that Sarah was trying to take to the hospital the day that Blankenship followed her around the block and through the alleys and everywhere else. Right. The state patrolman showed up and wrote him a ticket for speeding. Was it like $135? They say it was 150 or 135. It was 100, somewhere between $100 and $200 for speed, and he had just been in a serious accident. I'm sorry, man. I just, as a state, if I was an officer, I just wouldn't be able to bring myself to write someone a ticket whose girlfriend's literally might die. I mean, it's being life flighted to the hospital, and the dude's got several broken bones, broken leg, broken arm. I'm like, But I'm gonna write you a ticket though. Give you something to read on your way over to the trauma room. Ironton Strong. No, you didn't piss me off. You didn't piss me off, but I just think I think that you're a certain person that I know, and I've seen your behavior and I've seen your activity on the internet. I've seen screenshots and messages, and man, if it is you, you need to take a look at some of the shit that you've been doing, man. It's dirty, dirty, rotten. I don't know why it is that these trolls want these what do they call them, frauditor reapers and frauditor rams, and these people that I don't agree with a lot of things that some cop auditors do. I like to watch the cop watch channels, like Joe Cool and some of these guys who really don't interact with the cops until the cops come up and start giving them orders and this and that, right? I don't really pay much attention to the guys who run up and bait like the interactions, like News Now Omaha, how he hides in the bushes and has his buddy call the cops on him and say there's a suspicious black guy in the bushes. That's dirty, man. That's like setting yourself up. That's trying to set them up and setting yourself up. And it's just, it's disingenuous. It's dishonest. And I'm not into those. This isn't an auditing channel. This isn't a cop auditing channel. It's really not a police accountability channel. But that's what we're talking about. So if it bothers you, if you just can't stand to listen to it, you have to sit there and just find things to put, like, slinging poo, man. I don't know what waffling is, man. I'm not I don't talk to kids every day where I know how they talk, because that seems like one of these new terms or whatever. You hate chili, you kiss up to chilies. First of all, I've never kissed up to Chili de Castro, ever. I've got tons of text messages, screenshots, text messages, videos of all my text messages. They're all saved. Every time I talk to that guy, it's a fight, it's an argument, because I tell him things you don't want to hear. But I don't hate the guy's guts. Who says I gotta hate somebody because I disagree with them nine times out of 10? I mean, I'm not out here hating on anybody. I don't hate goo. What the hell are you talking about, person? And like Ironton Strong, first of all, use your real name, man. People don't know who you are. You're a troll, right? Nobody knows who you are. You're just in here spouting off stupid comments, making accusations, throwing.
Stand for something. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, look at you, man. Come on. You want to create drama in my chat to make it. You know what? That might get more views on YouTube, because YouTube promotes the shit out of drama. But what you're doing is you're railroading the subject at hand. You're trying to throw what we've prepared to present to the audience, and you're derailing the stream, right? So if you want to keep doing that, we can just get you out of here. I don't want that. I don't care. The stuff you're saying doesn't bother me, man. All right? I'm not bothered by people. You can say whatever the fuck you want about it.
And look at it like this.
It's just the fact that you're in here trying to derail my stream.
We don't have to like someone, to, or per se, even if we don't like someone, we don't want people to be screwed over. We don't want people to be in a situation that they would have to go through what we have, or anyone else for that matter. You got to understand, we're not picking a side. It's not like that, man. It's really not, because you have to have an open mind and a perspective. Like he said earlier, there are loved ones and others that we simply do not go around, not because we don't love them, but for
let me just
tough love.
Let me get this out of the way so we can be done with this person in the comment box, all right? Let me just get this out of the way. No, I'm not saying that if you disagree with me that you are a troll. I'm saying that when you come into someone's stream, right, using a fake name, probably a sock account, I bet if I tap on your thing, it's going to say you have no videos, you've been on YouTube for 10 days, whatever, all right? I'm not saying that's a fact, but I'm saying I bet it probably might be, right? So what I'm saying is that you're a troll when you come into someone's stream and you start throwing poo at them, right? And trying to derail the conversation and make it about what you want to talk about, right? That's what a troll does, right? You sling insults, you think your comments, you think they sound intelligent, you think everyone's paying attention to you, that it's your stream all of a sudden, right? That's a troll. Just to set the record straight, right? That's what trolls do. That's what you're doing. So, that out of the way, right? This was supposed to be like a half an hour, 45 minutes, and we've spent 15 of it conversing back and forth with you. And it's not about you, and it's not about your opinion. It's not about what you think. This is a presentation of things that we want to bring up, things that we want to talk about, right? Not spend a half an hour talking to you or worrying about the shit that you're saying. And when that becomes an issue, that's when I click and just get you out of here, period. Like, I put you on timeout. Like, I don't like blocking people, man. I don't like telling people they can't speak their mind, right? But if you're just here to distract people, and if you're here to take up for these clowns over here, you can go. I don't even want you on the channel, dude. You can be blocked. The minute I find out that you're here taking up for these Ironton boys over here, you can go. We're not doing that, right? We're building up an audience of people
that
who
want
align
and need to see change
and want the same things we want, and who can align in their opinions and not sit and go back and forth in the chat arguing like freaking idiots. What about you? You lied too. Why don't you record every time you break the law? Why don't you, every time you speed or go 5 miles per hour or throw a candy wrapper out the window, which I don't do, by the way. I won't even throw a cigarette butt down. I won't. I put them in my pocket. I throw them away when I get home. Ask anyone who knows. I don't litter. But yeah. So I just put this person in timeout, and like, I'm looking at the chat, and like almost the entire chat is this person's deleted comments now that they're in timeout. Right, you can't see that or whatever. Just like the whole thing almost. It's just this person trying to distract people from what we were talking about. All right. All right. Come on, man. Did we go over all the people that donated?
I think so. If we miss somebody, please let us know. It's not done intentionally. And, you know, I guess this would be a good time to maybe mention that on the next one, if anybody has questions, come right out and ask. Well, I mean, that's all you can do.
Well, look, so there was an allegation a while back while Chili was in Ironton, right? A lot of people came out and thought that Chili was something that he's not. You know, maybe that's what he aspires to be. Maybe his intentions are good, right? But if you've ever had an interaction with the man, it's really hard. He's a hard guy to deal with. He's a hard person to talk to. He thinks he's
abrasive.
He's the special, you know, golden child of everything, and
main character.
He does no wrong. It's like Chris Brown can do no wrong. So yeah, but when he was in Ironton, he did. Some people were coming to him about this girl who is what now she's 18, 19, I guess. Now, don't quote me on the numbers, but so Jonathan Spoljaric was supposedly, allegedly sexting and grooming this girl while she was in high school, like from junior high on up, and then ended up sneaking off and having sex with her in his car somewhere when she was like 17 while she was still in high school. And now she's an adult and she's coming forward, and she's, you know, she thought Chili could do something about it. She probably is not going to talk about it anymore because she found out that Chili's not going to do anything about it. He's going to make money off of it and talk about it. Sure, that's what YouTube creators do. Call it what you want, and call it grifting, but he does that. And the game changer thing, I've yet to see it. Hey, I got hope. I got hope for the man. If he can change something for the good, I'd back him up.
He did get railroaded. He got
railroaded
there
when he came
and here.
So yeah, call it wishy-washy what you want. I'm just stating the facts. I'm not siding with anyone on that. The guy did create somewhat of a change in Ironton. He exposed some things, and the cops were on their best behavior for the longest time. Now they're just back to no good, and now they're being 10 times more careful when they do it, because now they know people are willing to record their interactions with them. Not near as many people that should be. It should be every single person that they pull over. I want to know how many people Spoljaric busted with meth or fentanyl, and why they haven't had their cases re-examined and looked at. Because remember that guy at the lake that we ran into, and he said, yeah, I got busted, and who was it? It was Akers and Spoljaric that busted him. And he swears he doesn't do drugs, and he didn't have anything in his car. There was nobody in his car that did drugs. They found meth in his car. The dude was crying. We were like out at Lake Vesuvius. You remember that?
Yeah.
The dude was crying. Like, man, they set me up.
And
that was before we knew Spoljaric was running around with meth in his, like, wow.
He said,
wow.
He said, what can I do? What can I do? They're going to pin me, and I don't have the money to fight it. So.
Exactly what it said. Felt so bad for that dude. I think he's in prison right now. I talked to the girl that he was with. That she works at a dollar store in Ironton. She looks like she doesn't look like she's on drugs, but I've been fooled before. Point is, these guys don't let you get back up. They kick you while you're down. Once they got you on a list and they think this or that. Akers didn't have any reason to patrol us based on any drug interdiction, nothing he was doing. We were coming back from my mom's house. We hardly ever go to Ironton. He had no idea who we were. He knew that car because McKnight told him to look for that car. And if he saw that car, to give us hell. And that's what he did. The minute we passed him, he was sitting in a car wash. He jumped out and started chasing us like he was like trying to get behind us and shit, dodging. There was 2 cars in between us, and he was dodging, trying to get in front of those cars to get behind us. And he said that he was patrolling because he had indicators of his drug interdiction, which he took that back real quick. He says it on his police report, though. That's where he messed up, right? That's slander, dude. That's defamation of character. You can't just say, hey, I thought this guy might be on dope. That's discrimination, man. It's profiling. You can't do that, man. Right? And then later on the live stream on my channel, he says, I never said you guys were on drugs. You didn't? Well, no, you really did insinuate it awfully hard. You really did. Yeah, you did. And his sergeant told him, I don't want to hear none of that crap. Because he knew he was full of it. It's like, what's the reason you pulled him over? He's like, 100 feet prior. Like, that's just like the standard that they go to when they want to pull somebody over. 100 feet prior. How do you know what 100 feet is, man? Just with your eyeballs, just looking. There's no sign that says this is 100 feet. Right. They got them transparency goggles, right? They can see like RoboCop, you can see the little meters in their eyesight, like 100 feet, target located. Oh, God, Akers does think he's fucking RoboCop. I'll give you that. The dude, he walked around like this and shit. Have you ever seen Akers when he's recording? Go to Ben on Third, all one word with 3RD. Ben on Third, BEENON 3RD. Go to that channel, man. I like that guy. He's goofy as fuck, but he brings out the best in him, right?
Thank you, Miss Debbie, very much.
Thank you,
she
Debbie.
Said, welcome home.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's nice to be here. I got court on the 10th. Beth's going to be with me on that one. Bet she don't go in there like Chili did and freaking start arguing with the judge during a preliminary hearing when I'm just there to plead guilty or not guilty. Right? The prosecutor's like, I don't even know why he's making such a big deal out of it. We don't even have anything. At that point, they sent us a picture of the stop sign that they accused her of not stopping at. Not her car sitting parked too far past it, but just the stop sign. Like, this is where it happened. Like that was evidence. But literally, that was all they had. And then Chili went and gave them flash drives with our dash camera footage, and they just played this one part of it and went over and over and over. They caught her while she was talking and while the turn signal was engaged. And then the turn signal unengages and she has to re-engage it. And they say, listen, that's when she hit her turn signal. And they kept playing it over there. They wouldn't play it any further or any further back. They just played the part where she was cussing a lot, and then the part where, right when she right at her wit's end, when she was like, no, fuck this, and she like pulls over, you know. So they got her at her worst, they got the worst view. They got her bad side, right? And then they played it over and over and over. And she begged him not to give them that stuff, and he said, no, it's necessary. It's necessary, right? Then he tried to get her to do power of attorney, which didn't happen. Calm down, everybody. It didn't happen. Turns out he didn't know how to do that either. And once I heard about it, I was at work when it happened. Once I heard about it, I was like, are you freaking crazy? And I got to looking at the papers, and I was like, this ain't going to work. None of this shit is notarized. So, wow. But that's pretty much it. I'm sorry about the back and forth with, I want to say it's Tracy. Tracy Broughton. She wants all the attention. Like some bad shit happened to us, and we reached out for help. And the guy that came to help us was a freaking firecracker. All right, like I don't care if you do hate chili. You can't say you weren't entertained by watching those videos when he walked up to Pam and he was like, "We're not done with you by a long shot, sister." Like. Or when she walks up to him and is like, Jose and DeCastro, deceased disorderly conduct, or you will be arrested.
With their big old 18th finger in the frame.
We made a meme with, or someone did, I can't remember, someone sent me a meme with John Candy from Wally World, like, halt, Wally Moose says you can't get in, or whatever. And it had Pam. I gotta say, Beth Rist is a hell of a person. I don't care what nobody thinks about the woman. She's feisty as hell. She might make you mad, but you can't not love her. If you've ever actually had an interaction with her as a police officer, you'd know she's actually a really good person. Despite, whatever. She took it easy on me a couple times when nobody else would, when I was at a really bad stage of my life. Call it pity, call it what you want. She took it easy on me, and it had a big impact on me. Had I went to jail during that time, probably things would have spiraled downhill and went really bad, but good things came out of it. And yeah, I'm in debt to Miss Beth Rist. We appreciate you, woman. God bless you. And we are praying for your friend. And maybe you can get on the next stream with us and talk about some of these things that we've been uncovering as far as like where all their money's going over there. And because somebody once said, if you want to find the corruption, follow the money, right? And even though people tell us like, man, just quit digging, right? Just leave them alone, get off their radar. No, I don't think I will. I think you messed with the wrong people. I think you thought it was going to fly over like it does on everybody else you deal with. Yes, sir. No, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Massive, please don't hit me. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Ain't that what they say? Ain't that what Ironton Strong was saying? Stand for something? So I got to run for elect duty to stand for something. First of all, I've got a felony. I've got a very colorful past. I've only got one drug charge, and that was aggravated drug trafficking of oxycodone. This chick I used to know used to beg me to sell her my pills, which were prescribed, by the way. And I did on 3 different occasions, and she was wearing a wire all 3 times. So, yeah.
Everybody's got a past.
Yep. Did 4 years over that. Changed my life. Used the time wisely. Came out built like a shit brick house. A lot smarter, a lot more articulate. Spent a lot of time reflecting. learning how to not do hard time, if that makes sense. Because hard time is when you spend all your time worrying about shit that's going on out here that you can't control from in there, and it drives you freaking, excuse me, it drives you freaking insane. Yep, I know it's boring, guys. This one wasn't meant to be much. I just wanted to thank all the people that pitched together and threw their money together and came up with the extra $275 altogether. They said Beth put in 100, and then there was 175. Somebody said what? Oh, and also I received $8 today from someone, or yesterday maybe, that said I hope he's out. And let me see who that was. How do you go to the? Give me just a second. I want to give this guy a big shout out because. Anyway, let's go transaction. Okay.
Here. And then you have to scroll down.
It's like the last one.
Keep going.
I got it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hang on a second, guys. Before we go, I just want to give this guy a big thank you and a big thumbs up because that was.
It's farther back.
Well,
Keep scrolling.
oh, I see. Frank E. I don't think he's on here watching right now, but he might check it out later. Mary F. Frank E. again. He actually sent $12 the night that I got arrested. Awesome, man. I appreciate you so much. Caleb, Laura A.
And then go to the top.
And then there were two more.
Jennifer.
Oh, I thought that was Miss Jen.
Mm-mm.
Jennifer C. Jennifer. You know who you are. You guys know who you are. Much appreciated, man. We didn't have enough. I think together, me and Sarah had $525. I was getting ready, literally the next day, if that hadn't happened, I was going to buy new rotors for our car, and that's what that money on my card was for. I was saving back. I had a goal amount put back, and but I'll take care of that later. It wasn't something that needed done immediately. I'm just happy I didn't have to sit 8 days in there and wait for a court date, even though in comparison to Lawrence County, it wasn't really that bad. They give you a towel, a wash rag, a roll of toilet paper. Mind you, you don't get any of this when you go to jail in Ironton. None of it. They let you keep your underwear. That's a big deal, right? Because every time I go to jail over there, they're like, nope, can't have nothing. Then they make your people bring you things, and they have to be a certain type of thing, and they got to sniff through them and all that stuff. And for that matter, if they asked me if I'd ever had any drug charges, and I was honest with them, and I was like, yeah, like 20 years ago, and they were like, well, I'm going to have to strip search you. But other than that, I think they asked me that because if I hadn't had that, then they wouldn't have. Because I know it's their policy. It says that no strip search will be conducted unless there is reasonable suspicion that the person may have drugs on it, and you have to have a reason why you think that. You have to be able to articulate it. Everyone that comes through there, Jerica, a very dear friend of mine, like a little sister to me, she just passed away a while back. In just a few short months before she got bad, she had an autoimmune disease, and some things went south. But just a few months before she passed away, she came to me and Sarah, and when she had heard what they did to Sarah in there, she was telling us about what they did to her. And long story short, a male officer strip searched her, made her bend over in front of his face and strip searched her and all that. You think that's right? I don't think that's right. But anyway, guys, I'm babbling. Thank you guys so much. I'm out. I'm free. I freaking appreciate you guys so much. Next live stream is going to be an open panel. We're going to go over some facts, some receipts that we got here, and if the trolls want to come in and argue about it or whatever, then just know we're bringing receipts this time. All right. Peace out, everybody.
they'll have an opportunity to come up with a panel.
Yeah, and we'll have an open panel next time. So anybody who wants to come up and discuss it with us, you're welcome. Just know I will be checking for trolls. I'm not just going to let you up if you're not showing yourself. I mean, I'm not going to let an avatar up and then have you turn your avatar thing off and your camera on and you got your ass in the camera or something like that. We're not going to pull that shit. So, but yeah, open panel. Be there, be square. There'll be cakes and cookies and Kool-Aid and white powder. So you guys, catch you on the next one.